The world's biggest opportunities emerge where food, technology, and investment intersect. And most people don't realize how profound this convergence truly is. When you look at these three forces separately, each one has shaped civilizations, economies, and human behavior for centuries. But when they collide, when they merge into one interconnected ecosystem, they create a wave of transformation so massive that only a handful of people truly understand its potential. And those who do, they're the ones rewriting the rules of the future. Think about food for a moment. It has always been more than survival. It's identity, culture, power, and industry. It fuels every human being, every economy, every system on the planet. But today, food is not what it used to be. We live in a world with nearly 8 billion people, a world demanding faster delivery, cleaner nutrition, sustainable farming, lower waste, and smarter logistics. The traditional systems that fed humanity for generations are stretched, outdated, and in desperate need of reinvention. This pressure is not a problem, it's a gateway. It's an opening for innovation on a scale we've never seen before. And wherever there is massive need, there is massive opportunity. Now look at technology. It's evolving so fast that the world you woke up in this morning is not the same world you'll go to sleep in tonight. Artificial intelligence is no longer an idea, it's infrastructure. Automation is no longer optional, it's essential. Robotics is no longer a futuristic fantasy, it's a core driver of efficiency. Technology collapses time, expands capacity, and removes friction from every human activity. It's not simply amplifying what we can do, it's fundamentally reinventing how we think, act, work, and connect. And when you inject this power into an industry as universal and essential as food, the result isn't incremental improvement. It's a revolution. Then come investments, the fuel that turns ideas into impact. Capital is a magnifier. It accelerates what is possible. It transforms concepts into companies, companies into industries, and industries into global forces. Investment isn't just about money flowing. It's about belief flowing. It's about resources aligning with vision. It's about someone recognizing that the world is changing and positioning themselves not on the sidelines, but in the driver's seat. Every major shift in human history had investors behind it, people willing to commit energy, risk, and resources into what others couldn't yet see. But here's the real magic. When these three collide, when food, tech, and investing synchronize, they don't just create opportunity, they create a once-in-a-generation landscape where the old rules crumble and new leaders rise. Because right now, food is being digitized. Farms are becoming data-driven. Delivery is becoming instantaneous. Waste is being turned into energy. Personal nutrition is becoming algorithmically optimized. Restaurants are becoming automated. Grocery stores cashierless. Supply chains AI-powered, and entire food ecosystems decentralized into cloud kitchens, smart networks, and robotics-driven systems. None of this happens without technology, and none of it scales without investment. This intersection is the birthplace of unicorns. It's where the fastest growing companies in the coming decade are going to emerge, and the reason is simple. Every single human being is a consumer. Every country depends on food. Every community relies on stable supply chains. Every business touches the food system in some indirect way. So when innovation transforms something as universal as food, the ripple effect is global. That's why this isn't just another industry shift. It's a tectonic movement with the potential to reorganize how humanity survives, thrives, and evolves. But the opportunity isn't only for large corporations or billionaire founders. It's for anyone who understands the shift early. Because the real opportunity is not in predicting the future. It's in positioning yourself inside the forces that create the future. And right now, those forces are converging with unbelievable momentum. You don't need to invent the next global platform. You don't need to create the next autonomous delivery network. You don't need to become an AI engineer or a venture capitalist. But you do need awareness. You do need vision. You do need courage. You do need to start paying attention to where the real energy of the world is flowing. The truth is, most people don't notice these intersections until it's too late. They see the headlines after the disruption, not the signs before it. They recognize the opportunity after someone else has already captured it. They move only after the entire world agrees it was a good idea. But the world doesn't reward late adopters. It rewards the ones who sense the shift, who see the pressure as possibility, the inefficiency as an invitation, the chaos as a catalyst. Right now, food systems are overwhelmed. That means inefficiency. Inefficiency means gaps. Gaps mean openings. Openings mean opportunities. And opportunities mean value waiting to be created by the people bold enough to step into them. Technology is accelerating faster than regulations, faster than education, faster than public understanding. That means the window is wide open for those who learn quickly, adapt quickly, and think differently. Investment capital is pouring into innovation at a rate that history has never witnessed. That means ideas that once needed decades now need months, sometimes even weeks to become reality. But the biggest opportunity of all is this. The world is demanding better solutions, not someday, but now. And wherever the world demands better, leaders are born. The real question is whether you allow yourself to be one of them. Whether you choose to be a participant in this transformation or an observer watching it unfold. Whether you position yourself inside the current of change or wait until the current becomes a tsunami, there is a reason the most forward-thinking entrepreneurs, investors, and creators in the world are moving toward this intersection. Because they understand that the future is not a straight line. It's a collision point. And anyone who stands at that collision point, who learns, who adapts, who invests, who innovates, will not only build wealth, they will shape the direction of humanity's next chapter. This is not speculation, it's not theory, it's happening right now in real time. The world is reorganizing itself, and the new centers of power are emerging exactly where food, tech, and investing meet. And when you position yourself at the center of a global shift, when you align with something bigger than you, when you recognize the opportunity hidden inside the challenge, you begin to step into a level of influence, purpose, and possibility that most people never experience in their lifetime. Because the truth is, the world doesn't need more passive consumers. It needs creators, innovators, problem solvers, visionaries, risk takers, and leaders who are willing to see where things are going before everyone else does. And the intersection of food, technology, and investment is the ultimate proving ground for those leaders. Transformation requires breaking old patterns and stepping boldly into innovation, and this is one of the most difficult truths for people to accept. Most individuals say they want change, they say they want growth, they say they want a new life, but deep inside, they remain loyal to the same patterns that have kept them stuck for years. Human beings are creatures of habit, and our nervous systems cling to the familiar, even when the familiar is painful, limiting, or destructive. That's why transformation is never accidental. It is intentional. It happens only when you make the radical decision to interrupt the patterns that have shaped your identity, your behaviors, your results, and your destiny. Old patterns are not just habits. They are emotional comfort zones. They are mental autopilot loops. They are stories you've told yourself for so long that they feel like reality. Patterns shape your perceptions. Patterns shape your decisions. Patterns shape the risks you take, the opportunities you see, and the opportunities you ignore. People get trapped not because they are incapable, but because they are conditioned. They wake up in the same emotional state, think the same thoughts, surround themselves with the same environment, respond with the same reactions, and then wonder why nothing new happens in their life. But here's the unfiltered truth. Nothing changes outside until something changes inside. No industry shifts in your favor if your mind stays anchored in the past. No breakthrough arrives while you hold tightly to the very behaviors that created your limitations. Innovation isn't just about technology or invention. It's about mindset. It's about willingness to step into unfamiliar territory. It's about challenging your assumptions and rewriting the rules you've lived by. Every transformation begins with disruption. A disruption of patterns, a disruption of identity, a disruption of certainty. People often fear disruption because it feels like loss, but what you were actually losing is the very thing that was blocking your growth. If you want a new life, you must be willing to let the old one break. If you want to rise to a higher level, you must be willing to shed the patterns of the level you were leaving behind. The world is changing at a pace humanity has never experienced before. Technology is advancing in real time. Industries are being reinvented. Markets are shifting. The future is unfolding faster than the average mind can process. And if you cling to patterns built for a world that no longer exists, you'll be left behind. Transformation demands courage because it forces you to walk into the unknown. The unknown is uncomfortable. The unknown triggers fear, but the unknown is also where every breakthrough lives. When you step boldly into innovation, you're not just adapting to the world, you are shaping it. You're choosing to see possibilities where others see obstacles. You're choosing to ask new questions instead of recycling old answers. You're choosing to act from vision instead of fear. Innovation starts when you refuse to accept your circumstances as fixed. It begins when you challenge the limits of what you believe is possible for you. Humans are often trapped by invisible patterns. Patterns of thinking that say, this is who I am. Patterns of belief that say, this is all I can do. Patterns of fear that say, don't risk it. Patterns of doubt that say, you're not ready. Patterns of delay that say, maybe tomorrow, but tomorrow is shaped by what you decide today. If you don't interrupt the voice of limitation now, it will rewrite every decision you make for the rest of your life. And the world does not slow down for anyone. The world has never waited, and it will not start waiting now. Breaking old patterns is not about violence or destruction. It's about clarity. It's about becoming aware of the loops that control you. Most people are living the same day again and again because they've never questioned the pattern behind it. They blame external factors without understanding that the real battle is internal. The pattern must break before the life can expand. To innovate in your career, your business, your relationships, your health, your finances, you must innovate first in your thinking. Innovation requires you to embrace uncertainty instead of resisting it. It requires you to move while others hesitate. It requires you to commit even when the path isn't fully clear. The ones who rise are not the ones who had perfect plans. They are the ones who acted despite imperfection. Innovation isn't a moment. It's a decision. It's choosing to no longer live by outdated programming. It's choosing to upgrade your perspective as fast as the world upgrades its technology. It's choosing to stop letting fear disguise itself as logic. Fear will always present itself as caution, as hesitation, as rational delay. But underneath, it's the same pattern trying to survive. And if your pattern survives, your potential dies. What separates those who transform from those who don't is simple. They get tired of their own excuses. They reach a point where staying the same becomes more painful than the fear of changing. They realize that clinging to old patterns is like holding on to a sinking ship. They understand that growth doesn't happen when everything feels comfortable. It happens when you challenge the parts of yourself that resist growth. When you step into innovation, you step into possibility, you open the door to solutions that didn't exist in your old mindset. You start seeing opportunity where you once saw limitations. You begin thinking in terms of expansion instead of scarcity. The world rewards people who innovate, people who are willing to disrupt themselves before the world does it for them. Look at every leader, every visionary, every entrepreneur, every pioneer who has shaped history. They all share one trait. They broke patterns. They challenge the norm. They question the rules. They refuse to accept that things must remain the way they have always been. Innovation doesn't happen at the edges of comfort. It happens at the edges of courage. Transformation requires you to let go of certainty. Humans crave predictability because predictability feels safe. But safe does not lead to extraordinary. Safe does not build impact. Safe does not create wealth. Safe does not change industries. Safe does not rewrite destiny. Every major breakthrough comes from someone who is willing to feel the discomfort of uncertainty and move anyway. When you step boldly into innovation, you align yourself with the energy of the future instead of the gravity of the past. You start to attract opportunities that were invisible to your old identity. You begin to magnetize people, ideas, resources, and environments that resonate with your new direction. Innovation expands your world. And once expanded, it can never shrink back to its previous size. Breaking old patterns is not something you do once. It's a lifelong discipline. It's a commitment to growth. It's a refusal to let your past determine your potential. The moment you decide to break your patterns, everything starts to shift. The way you see yourself, the way you act, the way you respond, the way you take risks, the way you step into your life with intention instead of hesitation. Because the truth is simple. Transformation doesn't happen when you know more. It happens when you become more. And becoming more requires stepping out of the comfort of patterns and stepping into the fire of possibility